Okay, guys. So this is Xela, Taco, Brittany Bitch, whatever you may call me. The date is April 3rd. This is the first video I'm going to be going over for the team. I am very, very happy that you guys are letting me be a part of this. I'm really going to try and give all of the insight that I have for you guys. I love Overwatch. I hate that I'm not able to play right now. Um, and I'm really really happy for you guys. I love you guys so much for letting me be a part of this. Even though as I explained, I'm really not even that much higher SR wise than you guys are. I don't consider myself above you guys. I consider myself your peer. I learn plenty of things from you guys all of the time, and I love playing with you guys. And I'm really sad that I can't right now, but thank you for letting me be a part of this, and I look forward to this upcoming season and really getting to share my knowledge and experience in Overwatch and hopefully help you guys out some. My word is not law by any means. We have another coach, and it's not like me and him are communicating before we're making these helpful tips or videos or anything like that. We may disagree with each other sometimes, hopefully not, but I'm sure eventually it's bound to happen, and Unk's a little bit higher of a player than even I am. So, take everything I say with a grain of salt. I'm basically going to be sharing the knowledge that I have and that I gained from watching a lot of Overwatch streams and such while my hand is down. Um, and I think that you guys are going to be able to learn a lot from Unk as well. But basically, I'm just going to be sharing my insight, some of the things that I've been learning lately, and some of the things that I plan on implementing when I'm able to play again. And also, looking back on these videos, it's a lot easier to kind of detect what's happening and make decisions based on what should have happened rather than being in the moment, right? Being in the moment is so much more intense and you're focused on what you're doing. Um, but something that I would really like to bring forth in everyone's mind and forth in my mind when I begin to play again is going to be team synergy. So I noticed Unk was giving some notes last night, and he was giving a lot of very specific how to play a character notes. Um, Whereas I am planning on focusing more on team synergy and actions per minute, and basically the things that you should be doing as a team in order to bring the other team down rather than specific individual how you as whatever hero you're playing should be operating. I think Unk's going to do a great job. Was reading some of his notes earlier with those individual things, so I would like to focus on kind of the team as a whole. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and get started on this King's Row defense that we have here. So we're running a Reinzar, Moira, Lucio, Junkrat, Reaper. I don't think this is a bad team comp for King's Row defense. Pretty solid comp. But one thing that I would like to point out, and I've noticed this with all of our King's Row plays, because I've played with you guys for a long time now. But we've already set up where we usually set up, right? This choke right here is where we hold. Okay, now I think this is a bad idea. And as I've been watching more and more pro streams and top 500 games, and even Owl, I see teams holding back here, right in between like the middle of this statue and this wall. Now, why is that? So it's great that we have a Lucio here. It's really great because, especially if we're going to be holding up here, because that speed is going to enable, a quick backdrop. But we have a Rhine and we have a Zarya. Let's say we didn't have a Zarya, okay? And we're right here. Shield breaks down. Where are you going to go? Where is an entire team of 6 going to go that is out of the range of fire within, a second or two, that they're not going to start getting hit and potentially Squishy's picked? There's nowhere to go right here. So if they came out with just like all around damage. I don't know, like if they came out with a Junkrat and Hanzo with his Storm Arrow and a Zen and I don't know, like a Roadhog, like their ability to break down Rhein's shield would happen so quickly that the decision to actually get out it's gonna come late, right? It's part of the reason that we're in lower ranks. We make slower, later decisions. And that's kind of something, a big thing I kind of forgot to mention that that I'm going to be talking about, because I've heard it a lot lately, that the difference between top 500 and grandmaster ranks and the ranks that we're in isn't necessarily, it is a factor that, you know, their mechanics are better and their aim is better, but the biggest part here is that they're making more actions per minute. They're making more decisions per minute. They're using their cooldowns more. They're, you know, they're making, it's exactly what it sounds like. They're making more decisions per minute, whereas we're slow making those decisions. This is something that I really want to work on myself when I'm able to play again, and something that I really like to work on with the team is going to be quick decision making and aggressive decision making, especially because we're going to be going up against gold and silver teams that are in the same situation as us. If this is something that we can truly perfect and work, I mean, we're not going to perfect it because we're not going to climb to top 500 within, you know, the next 2 months or however long this league is going to be. But you get what I mean. If we can get better at the decision per minute ratio than all the other teams, we'll beat them. Simple, plain and simple. So decisions per minute is going to be something that I'm talking about a lot here. But the decision to back up in this situation, if Rhein's shield breaks within 4 seconds, is going to be slower, right? So the reason for holding back here is A, this shield could break, and then you have nowhere to go. And most likely, if you're holding right here, there's going to be characters that split this way, and then there's going to be characters that split this way. And that's exactly what an enemy attack is looking for, right? A split team, and they go focus down something else, while there's not 6 people there. You know, they make it a 2-on-6 or a 3-on-6 situation where they're definitely going to win because they have the numbers, right? They have the more damage, they have more heals, whatever it might be. If you have less players than the enemy has in a certain fight, they have the advantage. So that's one thing. Shield could break quickly, characters are going to split. But number 2 is, let's look at if we didn't have a Lucio here, which I understand that we probably usually will. We usually do when I'm playing with y'all. If we didn't have a Lucio here and the enemy team did, okay, so they come up right here and they see how close you really are to this choke. Well, Lucio hits speed, and boom, all 6 of them move this way. And as y'all realize what they're doing, y'all turn, and then it's a race to point. This is your point. You're in control of this point right now. This is your point to defend. You don't want to flip it into a situation where you have to attack the point that the enemy just needs to stand on to capture. You never want to be in that situation. This is your point to defend. So I think we should be holding here. A second reason similar to that would be the hotel. So if the enemy team comes out and they see you right here and they just decide, well, fuck it, pump some damage in or pump some heals in with this brig, and if they had like a mercy or something, just pocket the squishies to get through. Or no, this is specifically talking about a Lucio situation, but even without a Lucio, if they just decided to run through you for whatever reason, let's say you didn't have a Junkrat or someone who could really insta-kill those squishies quickly, or even if you do and you just happen to misfire and you don't get away with actually killing a squishy, and all 6 of them get into this hotel, well, now let's look at the situation that our team's in. Okay, so someone I don't know who, most likely me if I was playing, is going to chase them into this hotel. Okay? Not everyone, though. Not everyone is going to turn and go here. Some people are going to be like, oh, they're going to wrap around the hotel and they're going to go to point. And someone, one, two, maybe even three people are going to chase them straight into this hotel. Okay, so now we're back to that 6v3 or 6v2 situation that I talked about, where they just turn around and they kill whatever's right behind them, right? If that were to happen, I do think the proper play would be, if all of you are right here, as you are right now, except for Reaper, which we're going to get to in a second, the wise decision to make here would be to simply rotate and come right here. And boom, you've got this corner, and they're coming here. It is not ideal because there is a wide opening here. And it would kind of just depend on team comp, how that would play out, your team comp and the enemy's team comp. But the wise decision, if they ran through that hotel, would be to come around here. But you've already put yourself in a bad situation, simply because of how we're set up. So something, like I said, that I want to implement is more holding back here. Basically, the Rhine shield, exactly where my one is right now, and just running across right here. Because the Rhine shield can cover all that area. And you can have Zarya left-clicking into choke. You can have Junkrat spamming. And you have your Moira for the heals back here. The reason I didn't mention Lucio is because I actually want to work on supports, like Lucio, supports like Brig, working more with, and supports like Mercy, working more with DPS, supporting DPS more, because something else that I've noticed in higher ranks, and we've even talked about this before, I know we have. Sorry, throat's a little dry. But something that I want to work on is these type of supports, Lucio, Briggs, Mercies, assisting more with DPS. We have great healers. We always have. I'm always so happy to play with the healers that we have, because I've played with random healers, and it's just not the same. So I think we have some really great healers. I think they do a really great job. It's just something, another difference that I've noticed between, you know, higher ranks and like our games, the streams that I watch versus the way that we play. So I think Lucio would work really well with helping out this Reaper, you know, making him move around quicker, healing him when he needs it. Even though Reaper has self-heal, it is back down to 30% now, so it's not what it used to be when Reaper was crazy at that 50% self-heal. And he's definitely going to need help sometimes, you know. Right now, I'm not sure if we know who this Reaper player is, or if this is someone new, or if this was a random that y'all had. This is nothing personal against, and nothing that I say in any of these videos is going to be personal against any of you. We all have things that we can improve on, especially myself. I know that. And these are things that even I need to work on. And it's just kind of easier to see watching a replay versus actually doing it, because you're able to, hindsight is 20/20, right? So I disagree with this Reaper positioning. Number one, look at the time left on the clock. 1 second. 1 second till the game starts. Reaper is currently teleporting up to right here. His cooldown is gone. That team will be here in less than 10 seconds. So one of his get out of jail free cooldowns, and one of the things that makes Reaper so powerful, is gone right now. So the second the team realizes, the second he drops down on them, they're going to turn around, and he's alone. He's in a 1v6 situation behind a wall, nevertheless. The Junkrat could kind of get an angle to where he could spam, but the tempting part about this being Junkrat in that situation is if the whole team turns around, he's going to want to step forward and get into this and really start spamming. But if they take down that Reaper in a 6v1 situation and turn, and that Junkrat's out of position, and they had, once again, let's just say they had that Lucio, and they just speed into him, boom. Now you're down 2, both of your DPS. You have very little damage output now, and all 4 that are still alive have to basically just get on point, and not even get on point. In that situation, I would say that you 4 should fall back and give up a tick or two while waiting for the 2 DPS to come back. And when I say fall back, I mean all the way back, using this corner right here, basically as the shield when Rhine shield is down. There's no point in the 4 of you going over here and staying on point in a 6v4 situation. It's not going to work out, especially defending. So I disagree with this Reaper positioning. I do not think this Reaper should be out here. Someplace that I would say he should be, because Reaper is a flanker, let's be real, and Reaper benefits from being closer. So while our team is back here, and that Junkrat is spamming, and that Zarya is spamming, Lucio and Reaper could be right here, pulling the attention of the attacking team both to the left and to the right. So they've got 4 of you over here. They've got a Rhine shield. They've got Zarya left clicks. They've got Junkrat grenades coming out of Wazoo. And they've noticed they've got a Reaper and a Lucio to deal with. Now, this is something that's going to slow down an enemy team. Therefore, their decisions per minute have already begun to decrease, right? They've got to decide, what are they going to do? And now, either Lucio can speed out, or if they rush into him, Lucio can wall ride out here while Reaper fades and gets to the team. And basically you've gotten away from that situation, and you've taken away time from the enemy team. You've taken away cooldowns, whatever cooldowns they decide to use during this pursuit of the Reaper and the Lucio. But I think the Reaper's a great pick. I think this positioning is just not what we need. But yeah, on that right side, pulling that enemy team's attention to the right and to the left, because then if they're running like a Rhine hog like they are, well, Rhine turns immediately when he starts feeling that damage, or he sees those characters right there. Rhine turns, and then you've got a shot as a Junkrat and Zarya spamming to bring down squishies, to put out serious damage into the tanks that force cooldowns of the supports. So you're just putting yourself, it's all about setting yourself up for success in these first fights. It's based on your positioning, and it's based on your decision making. That's what's going to win these first few fights without ultimates, right? So let's get into it, kind of see what happens. I've just been kind of rambling about setting up basically so far. Sorry about that, guys, and I hope I don't make these videos too long, but I really do hope there's helpful information in them for y'all. But yeah, let's get into it and see what happens. Okay, so I like the mortar damage ball, I like the fire strikes, but none of it should be happening, because you shouldn't be there yet. Okay, you shouldn't be at this choke. Maybe you could be at this choke, since you know you have a Lucio. You could be at this choke, and then as you throw your fire strike, you throw your Mora orb, you just immediately start, without knowing where the enemy team is and where they're pushing up, you immediately start backing up. Okay, backing up to that choke point. And even if you just started and waited right here, Junkrat and Zarya can spam over this wall and hit. Okay, and if you see that you're not hitting, you're not getting those X markers, you can spam to the other side of the bus and hit. Okay? So I do kind of see what this Reaper is doing. I still disagree with it. I think he's just putting himself in a bad situation. Maybe he's able to get a pick, but the chances aren't even 50-50, unless he literally just manages to luckily see that he can drop down on this half-health Zen, which this is a mistake on this Zen's part going over here. I don't know if he saw the Reaper, or if he's, I don't know what he's doing. He shouldn't be there at all. So therefore, this Reaper should not be able to get a pick, right? So I still disagree with this Reaper positioning. And yeah, let's continue. Let's see what's happening. Another thing that I want to note is, look at this Junkrat. Literally in spawn. Able to spam, able to do damage to the shield. When the shield goes down, able to do damage to heroes. Now if y'all were back here and Junkrat was spamming, or let's say it's a Widow, you know, and you just need to get out of LOS. Boom. And boom. Literally, within half a second, you're out of the LOS of that Junkrat or that Widow, or whoever's going to sit up there and use the benefit of not taking damage, and even if they are, they can step back. Basically, the only thing that's going to kill this Junkrat or a Widow up here is either a Mercy pocketed Ashe that gets a headshot, or a Widow, you know? And that's not uncommon, guys. We see this all the time. We see characters sit up there and spam damage, or a Widow sit up there and try to get a headshot. I think, I have no idea what this... They must have seen the Reaper out of the window before it started, and I guess that's what they're looking for over here. But that should be something the entire team's doing, really. If that was something that y'all noticed, I would want the entire team to break left, the entire team, all 6, and check out here. If he's not here, well, you know he's either back with the team or he's up there. So the entire team wall walks right here with the backs up against the wall, and if they spot him or if he jumps down, boom, that's where you're going. That's what you're doing. If not, then he's obviously over there. And you can just continue and do exactly what you were going to do. But we're on defense right now. We'll focus on that later. So let's continue. Okay, backing up into it. I kind of see... Yep, that's exactly where y'all really need to be. Okay, and look. Our Reaper's picked. Our Reaper's picked. Because they were able to pocket their Reaper. And he's just going to go up there and kill. I'm not sure why he's fading. Mistake, because he's not taking any more damage. But that's on them. It's not our team. But yeah, Reaper positioning, poor positioning, picked. Whereas he could have really benefited the team by being over here. Look at this Reinhardt. If you 4 are over here, and there's a Reaper Lucio right here, this Rein is... Unless, barring, you know, them being able to really put pressure on these two, they could kill this Rein right here. Sitting in this corner. You know? And if they get him to low health and it looks like he's going to get out, Lucio, boop, boom, and he's dead. So, it's once again, it's just about setting yourself up for success and positioning in these situations. So, your Reaper's down. Okay? Their Rein is pushed too far ahead. So what do you do with this situation here? I don't think Junkrat should be in front of Rein's shield. Okay? Because that just leads to... You don't know what the enemy team has at this point. I'm not sure if you've seen Hog. But that just leads to Hog coming around the corner, hook, and boom, dead. And now both your DPS are gone. So let's continue and see what happens. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna back up a little bit. What is it? Where did that Junkrat go down? That's what I'm looking for. Oh, shit. Okay. I went a little too far back. That's my bad, guys. But we're just gonna watch through it here. So as the enemy team pushes in, this is where y'all want to be, along this wall, so that y'all can use this building as defense when Rein's shield goes down. Okay? Something that I would have preferred to seen from the Zarya right there is noticing that that Junkrat was in trouble and bubbling that Junkrat instead of waiting to bubble the Rein. I know it's something we very specifically talk about a lot, is Zarya bubbling Rein and them being able to really lean on each other. But Zarya bubbles have to go out in situations like that, because in a top 500 game, that Junkrat's dead when he was up here way above Ryan's shield. It worked out, so it's not that big of a deal. It's just kind of a side note. Okay. So I would prefer to see the team being even closer together than they are right now. Kind of everybody more right here. Yes, I think the Rhine should be kind of where he is, Vinyl, and right here, and able to swing that hammer. But you need to be able to just take those several steps back and then boom, be out of LOS. And cut LOS from most of these people right here, so that you can give your shield time to recharge, and everything like that. So Junkrat died out here, is what I'm seeing. I missed it again. I'm looking for the body. Junkrat died because he's out of position, I'm guessing? No, the Junkrat was over here. Okay, perfect. So, once again, we're talking about... and I know that he's discorded in this situation, so it probably happened very quickly without anyone realizing that the Junkrat was in trouble, but this is something that positioning could have helped you with, okay? And now look at this Reaper. Alright? So, rather than the Reaper being able to come around this corner and, oh, I've got my sights on a Junkrat right here. If that Reaper came around the corner and all 5 of you were right here, boom, turn and focus down. Okay? And then the rest of the team is going to be rotating and they're down a player. So now you've created an equal situation, a 5-on-5 situation, because you're already down that Reaper from the beginning, the very beginning. Beautiful boop. I like that a lot. Okay, let's look at what happened there. As soon as this Junkrat goes down, the decision here needs to be to play more passively, to get shields up, and to begin backing up. You know you're in a 4v6 here. You know you're not going to win it. You're simply not going to win with both of your DPS down in a 4v6 situation. So the decision needs to be to begin backing up, like I was talking about earlier. It's okay to get off point, guys. It's okay to give up a tick or two, because if you can go in and defend the objective while there's still a tick left with a 6 stack rather than 4, your chances of holding this point for the entirety of these 4 minutes are much higher than they would be holding this 4v6. So this is just going back to what I'm talking about, decisions per minute. Making that decision to play passively, put your shields up, use your Zarya bubbles to get out rather than die on point. That would be your next decision. I love that boop so much. Okay. So, had the decision been made in the 4v6 to begin backing up, it needs to be, you need to be aware of your surroundings, right? So you're in a Rhine, you're going up against a Rhine. You don't want to turn and back up this way, because all that's going to happen is exactly what's happening here. He has to take 2 steps to the right and click L1, and he's going to charge straight through the entire team. If he missed the Rhine, he would have hit the Zarya. If he missed the Zarya, he would have hit the Moira or the Lucio. He's got a bowling alley full of pins right here that he's just going to roll into. So when you're backing up, be aware of your surroundings. Back up here. That way, when the Rhine charges, it's a mistake. Okay? So if the Rhine charges here, he's out of position. So he hits this wall, or even better for y'all, he comes back here and hits this wall. Now he's way out of position, and you've got a 3-on-1 situation if the Rhine even goes down, because a longer pin time means more ability to heal from this Lucio and this Moira. And I'm not even sure if he would have totally killed him had y'all been rotating back this way. So be aware of your surroundings. When you're getting out, back up to a point where them pursuing is overextension and a mistake on their part, rather than putting them in a situation where they've definitely got an insta-kill and the rest of the team can support them from right here. Because look, where that Rhine lands, he's not in a bad situation at all. So if this Zarya Moira starts focusing this Rhine, Hog's already got sight. He's going to throw a hook. Junkrat's already got sight. He's going to be spamming grenades. Mistake. Everything that's happening right now on our team should be focusing on getting out. There is no situation where y'all win this fight. So everything that you need to do is getting out. The Reaper, I'm pretty sure he came from up there. He probably teleported from back there. Should have teleported to right here to help assist those of his team that were still alive getting out, rather than jumping into a point to try and contest in a fight that you know you're not going to win. Another thing that we need to talk about is the difference between helping your team and helping your team throw. So I know as a support player, the sight of your Reaper at 25 HP on point by himself is scary, and you want to go over there, you want to help him. But look what's already happened with our Lucio, an attempt to go help our Zen. You're discorded. You're squishy, discorded, with 4 enemy players behind you. It's just a bad situation. So everything needs to be focused on getting out. If someone makes a mistake, mistakes happen. They're going to happen, right, guys? So if someone makes a mistake, don't pursue that mistake further by further investing into it. Get out. Especially if this was a random Reaper. I'm still not sure if it is or not. If this is a random Reaper and he's not in comms with you, especially, just leave him. But even if it's your own teammate, if it was me, looking back on this situation, if I was the Reaper that jumped down onto this point because I was going to try to defend, I saw this Zen and I wasn't paying attention to what was over here, and I thought I could get a quick pick and maybe turn a fight. Leave me. As this Lucio, you should know what is behind you, and the fact that this fight is unwinnable. Now our Lucio goes down. Okay, so Reaper gets a pick, but it's not even worth it. It's not even worth it, because that Zen is going to be right back, and he's going to be back before the entire team is back. Okay, poke damage. That... Okay, I don't have much to say about that with the enemy team's composition, and if that's what was on this Junkrat's mind, then that's fine. But coming up here to spam through a window is dangerous versus a soldier, versus a Hanzo, versus a tracer, versus a widow, versus someone who can get to him quickly or do long-range damage, high burst long-range damage, right? So he's all the way over here, and say this is a Hanzo. All it takes is one peek, headshot, done, right? So if you're going to do poke damage, do poke damage and set yourself up for success. Do poke damage from right here, sending it into where you know they're going to be, right? Predictive aiming. You know they're going to eventually have to come around this corner. So why put yourself in a situation where you've got all of this room in order to get to your team, whereas you could be right here spamming to where you know they're going to be coming. So he got hit by this Junkrat coming around the corner, and he's in a situation where he could have gotten picked had he been hit by a second grenade. Whereas if he's here and he's spamming, he would have been the one hitting that Junkrat. Okay? Good bubble charge. I'm not sure. I guess because these two are far out. I don't know. I don't know what I think about that Moira ult. I don't play enough Moira, honestly. I'm not sure of the damage that can truly be done. But what needs to be thought about here is the fact that your team doesn't need healing, right? Your team doesn't need healing. And these two have get out of jail free cards. He's right here with his mines. Drops one, hits it, drops second one midair, hits it, he's out. Reaper simply fades or teleports. Reaper, all he has to do... Oh, this is Brig. I'm sorry. No, maybe it's a good call then. But that is something that needs to be on your mind. If you're going to use this ultimate to focus someone down because they're out of position, the player's cooldowns need to be thought of. And also ult economy. So if we've got one ult, which is Moira's Coalescence, what needs to be on the brains of every single player on our team is what ultimates did the enemy build while they took that point in the minute or so that's happened in this match so far. What ultimates do they have? What ultimates do we have? And how do those ultimates play against each other? Ult economy is another huge disconnect between the lower ranks and the higher ranks. It's something I'm still really trying to work on. I'm sure you guys hear me call out all the time. Okay, what do they have? They used blank, they have blank, and they might have blank, right? And that's going to be another important thing. Watch your kill cams, guys. I'm trying to make that a habit of my own. I hate seeing myself die because I hate seeing myself make a mistake because I feel like I let my team down, right? That's the biggest thing for me. It's not anger that I died. It's more upset with myself because now I've put my team in a bad situation. But kill cams are important because they give a lot of information away, right? So especially ult economy. At least watch it for the second that lets you know whoever killed you, where they're at on ult percentage. And if it's above 65%, say something. Say they have it or they are close to. Okay, so we're using this Moira ult. So that Junkrat fucked up. That Junkrat fucked up. He fucked up his mines, and that's why he died. But he had them. Okay? That Brig fucked up because rather than returning to her team, she further put herself into a situation where she was screwed and by herself. So this Junkrat and Lucio chasing down that Brig, that's awesome. And that pressure, right? If you know you've got your Moira ulting and that Junkrat comes through this way, that Brig's dead, right? So very, very good call there. Okay, and the next choke point that we're going to be talking about is this one right here, okay? So now we're in a situation where the card is moving, all right? So you've got two options here. I'm kind of mad about this. Simply because Reaper has get out of jail free cards does not mean you should be putting yourself in 1v6 situations, because chances are you're not getting out of them every time. You're not getting out of them every time, and you're putting your team at a disadvantage when you do so. Okay, so I just noticed that Reaper positioning. I don't like it. But continuing talking about this choke. So you've got two options here. One, you use this corner, which this is very aggro. This is very aggressive. But that stops the cart from moving, right? So you're able to use this wall when the Rhine shield is down. You're able to use Zarya bubbles when the Rhine shield is down, and that cart isn't moving. And you force the enemy attackers to do something. So they either have to come out here or they have to go back and around you, which that's not going to happen in our elo. So what they're going to do is they're going to push out here. And chances are one of their DPS is going to get impatient and come at the wrong time when the Rhine shield is down or the Hog's not body blocking, and you can pick. So this is good positioning, but everyone needs to be hugging this corner right here, so that A, the team is together and you can use team synergy, and B, that cart actually stops. So like if everyone were back here with the Rhine, that cart wouldn't stop. And then you're in a bad situation, right? Because the cart moves and then they've got cart to get behind, cart to use and break your LOS, and you're getting in a situation where you're behind them. So this is fine to hold, but you need to be up here and really aggressive with this hold, okay? And eventually this hold is going to break, right? And then you're in a bad situation because you've got a lot of room here. And if you go back this way, you're in a situation where you're behind the team, right? And you're giving up a lot of room. If you're coming this way, there's really not a situation where you're going to be able to get out. If the Rhine shield breaks, you're not gonna go this way and get out alive, right? There's just way too much time. There's way too much distance to cover. So I like holding this corner. It needs to be the whole team, and it needs to be right when the cart is right here so that it stops. And you can fight that until you lose the team fight, right? You can continue fighting that. If you keep winning team fights, that's great. The cart hasn't moved anywheres. But another benefit of holding this corner right here and holding that until you lose the team fight is that when you do lose the team fight, you recognize the win condition is gone, and whoever's here gets out, whoever's dead regroups, and you've got a lot more room to play with because the next option, the next hold, is right here, okay? So I like holding that corner. I agree with it. I just think everyone needs to be a little bit closer. The next option, if you don't hold that corner, if you're not set up in time in order to set yourself up to do so, then this is your corner to hold, right? Which is common practice. I've seen us do this plenty of times. But if you're holding up here and you don't or you eventually lose this team fight, right? Then the cart's going to start moving. You won't have enough time to get set back up to hold this. Okay, so then your next point of hold is going to be right here. You're going to take this corner, okay? But if you were holding back here originally, the room that you've given up when you lose this team fight, if you lose this team fight at this corner, right? The next one you're going to be able to hold isn't until back here. Right? So I like the fact that you guys are holding up there. I just think it needs to be a little tighter, closer to that corner, and just really using your landscape, using your surroundings. Once again, being aware of your surroundings and using those to your advantage. You're already in a bad situation because of this Reaper, who is about to die, I believe. Okay, able to get out, but look what this forced, okay? Look what this forced. So the Reaper had to use Fade to get out. One of his cooldowns is gone. Boom. The Rhine had to come around the corner, which initiates the entire team coming around the corner because it's pointless for Rhine to do so by himself. So Rhine had to come around the corner. He has to use Shield. Shield's getting destroyed. If he doesn't use Shield, look at this. We have to use Zarya bubbles. Teammates' cooldowns are being forced because of one teammate's positioning. Okay? So that's what I'm talking about. Bad positioning doesn't just affect you, it affects your whole team. And not just in a sense of your death, but your team wanting to protect you. Same situation earlier with that Lucio rushing to the Reaper on point. Alright? Okay. This is your corner. If this is what you decide to hold, then you hold it. Do not back up this way because it's pointless. You're just giving them line of sight. You're giving the long range characters, high burst damage characters like Junkrat that can just spam down a straight line the ability to do damage on you. You're giving Ryan the ability to charge straight ahead and his healers still have LOS on him to heal him. Whereas you should be taking this corner. And that way you're breaking the LOS when you need to recharge shield for a second or when you need to do something like that. This isn't a bad idea because you know that Junkrat is going to eventually come up here. In our elo, generally they do. However, enemy team composition is something you need to be very aware of because look what's coming. If he comes up here, Reaper's either dead or forced off and forced out of cooldowns. So be aware of the enemy team composition and try to be aware of where they're at. You know, I know that's obvious, but think about it. If you haven't seen the hog in a while, oh shit, where is he? Does he know I'm here? Is he coming for me? So yeah, just being aware of that. I would say I would hold over here as this Reaper rather than this way, looking over here. Because it's pointless to look out this window. You're not going to do enough damage to kill anything or even really charge anything off your ultimate. But if you're right here, you have that LOS on anyone coming up. And you still have the LOS on this window that you were looking for in the first place. But it's good. It's good because if you know your team's holding right here, which they are, you're disabling that Junkrat's ability to come up here and just spam down grenades, right? Good tire. Okay. This is overextension. You've begun to win this fight. Alright? You've already completed the win condition here. Their main tank is gone, and they are in a choke. There's no situation where they win this fight. Okay? So Vinyl, I want you to look at your health bar right here. I want you to look at this Discord orb on you. This could easily be turned to you not having the win condition because both Rhines are down. Okay? Whereas what you could have done when you began to win this fight is kill this Brig and back up to right here and wait for the enemy team to get their shit together because they're not going to win regardless. So this is overextension. You've already won the fight, and I don't believe that you should be pushing as far as you are here. I think it would be fine to come after this Brig because she's right here and look at her HP. But then I don't think there's any reason to go past right where this camera is right here. Then you come back over here. Oh, and then Final goes down. Okay, so now we've got a 5-on-3 situation, or I'm sorry, a 5-on-2 situation. But when's the last time anybody saw this hog? Look where he is. Okay, so he's gonna come and easily could pick a squishy or two if someone's not on mic and not communicating. I know that's not going to be the situation in the league. Everyone's going to know each other and be familiar, he has whole hog. So this is another thing to think about with ult economy. When's the last time I saw this hog? I know he has ult. So if hog comes, because your main tank is down, if hog comes and just jumps onto this cart and presses triangle, he's going to start blowing everybody back because you're in a choke, right? There's no going around him on both sides so that he can't focus on both. He's just going to start blowing people back. And he could ride this cart the entire time he's using that ult. That gives his team time to regroup, and then you're in a situation where 5 of them are coming for 5 of you, even if you take that hog down. Okay? So overextension led to not a guaranteed win here. Not a guaranteed team fight win. Okay. This hog made a mistake because he easily could have killed the Lucio here. The Lucio that's discorded. And I can already tell he's just about to push up, right? So this is a great play by Lucio. Because you're going to be able to come around and you're going to be able to boop him off of cart. Which is what needs to happen, honestly. I know I know you're going to be booping him into your team here. But this is a matter of team overextension. So Zarya, Junkrat, Moira, Reaper are overextended right now. The only person who's where they should be is Lucio. And as the only person who's where you should be, you have to defend the cart. So I'm guessing you're going to come around and boop him. Let's see. Okay. Pay attention to your own HP, which is pretty high right here. But when you came around and you booped him, you were at like 25. So just make sure you're not getting in front of something like a hog ult when you're at 25 HP. I'm sure you wouldn't consciously make that decision, dear, but if you're unaware of your own HP, you can make a simple mistake like that. But that was a great play, booping him, and they were able to bring him down. But per se, there isn't a healer here, or Zarya's already used her bubble cooldowns. You know, this is still overextension. It's still a bad situation. The enemy team didn't play it right, but there's no reason anyone should be anywhere but right here. Where is this Reaper? Okay, so he was able to get away with this. I just don't agree with it. I don't agree with this at all. Right there, easily could have been dead. Beautiful bubble though, Cypher. That was really good. That was really, really good. But now we've forced Zarya to use her bubble. Reaper has used his fade, and he's by himself with a hog hunting him, and another Reaper who's also using fade for some unknown reason. And boom. Reaper dead. Okay? So now you're in a 5-on-5 situation simply because the Reaper got lucky and was able to pick the Rhine. But what if he didn't? What if he died to that pin right there? Positioning is everything, guys. And there are flank characters. I recognize that. I use flank characters a lot myself, but don't put yourself in a situation where you're easily going to be picked. Be smart about flanks. Dangerous. I don't disagree with that, dear, because you knew what you were doing. You went in, you booped, you attempted to boop through a window, I'm guessing, and then you got out. I don't see anything wrong with that. And you also were able to get your Zarya bubble charge, which I'm guessing is the only reason that you were bubbled, because for the charge, because you were full health. But now we're to the point, guys, and this happens a lot once we start getting picked. The more we start getting picked, the more we separate, okay? So now I could see you getting away with this, dear, this 2v1 situation, just because of how froggy you are on Lucio, but it is risky, and there's a Rhine coming. So we've got here Lucio, Zarya here, and the rest of the alive teammates over here. Reaper jumps down and starts to blossom. But had Lucio been over here, which you knew where he was, right? So this is going to be another part of that actions per minute, decisions per minute discussion. When you miss that boop on him, you should have known and gone right back to the team here so that you could drop that beat for Blossom. That was a really, really good boop by this Junkrat. Okay, I'm not sure what forced trans here, whatever it was, good job. But see, and now this is what I meant. 50 HP. You're not getting out of that. There's no chance. If you do, I will literally fly to you and kiss your feet. Oof. This is rough. Okay. And this is another situation where Beat would have saved from Blossom. Junkrat was able to knock him out of the way. But Beat would have saved from Blossom. And then it would have disengaged this tire, right? If Junkrat's smart, he's not going to throw that tire after immediately hearing, oh, let's break it down. But if he's dumb, he's just going to use it and it's wasted, right? So that's another big part of positioning is the ult economy. Being able to use your ults smartly with your team. Tire takes out. Lucio goes down over there. Moira was out of position as well. I'm not sure how much of that can really be counted against Thumper here, because Blossom was just right in his face and then got booped away miraculously, and then all of a sudden there's Tire. I agree with the fact that you should not have spent your time turning around if you knew he was right here and going after that Junkrat. I'm glad you didn't. I wouldn't want to see that because the entire team is right there and they're coming for you. But no, this is a part of knowing your surroundings, knowing where you're going as the fight is being lost, right? You're gonna lose fights in Overwatch. It's a matter of how you react to losing those fights. Okay? So as you're losing that fight, you back up this way. Okay? There is an option of backing up through here, but I wouldn't do that against an enemy Junkrat. So, it's a matter of knowing where you're going as the fight is being lost. Everyone needs to be rolling back this way. No. No. What? Back it up. Okay, so Reaper's first. First up. Based on where you lost this fight, your next fight should be right here. Okay? Sorry about that video cut. But oftentimes, even in our elo, someone's going to push up. Zen that has good aim. A Hanzo, a Widow, a Junkrat spamming, and even a tank coming to help them out. So yeah, while the fight may be out here, you don't need to be coming by yourself around this corner. There's no reason for this. And he almost died for it. What? There's no plan here. Why further engage? Why get 5 meters away from a Rhine Zen by yourself? It's just about making those type of decisions to where you're fighting as a team and not as 6 individuals. And now we've lost 2 cooldowns on Reaper. So process using your cooldowns, knowing that you won't be able to use them again for whatever amount of time your cooldown has. Beautiful grab. Beautiful grab. And this is a perfect example of cooldown usage, okay? So this Reaper came up and used his cooldown, used teleport to get up here by himself against Rhine Zen, had to use Fade in order to get out not to die. And now we're in a situation where there's a perfect timing for a 3 or 4 person grab here. But Reaper could have been right here already before this grab went out. Because he could have engaged with the team rather than by himself. But because you were forced off cooldown, you're not able to set something like that up. What's going on here? We're going to back it up. Okay, so forced off cooldown, both of them. Right here, this is where your Reaper could have been teleporting. So he comes up, he's right behind Ryan's shield, and he's getting set up right here. Because A, he has Blossom, regardless of if grab is going to be used or not. So he has Blossom. That should be the engagement on this fight. Okay? You know they've used Transcendence. Rally isn't going to stop Blossom. So ult economy is what you need to be thinking about here. Transcendence is the only thing on the enemy team that's going to stop Blossom. So you should be thinking what you're going to engage with on this fight. Grab Blossom I'm fine with. Especially that grab that Cypher got because it was massive. But that's going to be situational, right? The Zarya is only going to use that grab if she knows that she's actually going to benefit, if the team is going to benefit from it. So the Reaper should have waited and gotten set up here. Beautiful grab. Set up great. I wouldn't change a thing about that grab or anything anybody's doing right now except for Reaper positioning, because the Blossom needed to be the engagement here. The Blossom would have won this team fight. Okay. As Zarya and Orion, you need to be communicating when Ryan's shield is actually broken, because I just saw it break. That's why this Ryan used Shatter. And Ryan hasn't used Shatter this entire game, so you should know that he has it, right? So, look how tight this team is together. And look at the angle of where this Ryan is, right? So as Zarya here, what you should be thinking of, and what you and your Ryan should be communicating about, is that shield break. Because that shield break is almost a bait for Shatter. And if everyone's close together like this, and you jump in front and self-bubble, you've blocked almost the entire team from Shatter. Okay? So he shouldn't be alive, because the Blossom should have engaged and killed everyone. This Reaper, okay, you can't blatantly go after, like, he should be dead right here. He should be dead. Look at this. But they were so distracted by this Shatter that they're like, oh, let me focus on that. Let my Zen die over here. This should not be allowed to happen. And you shouldn't go for it, because you should know that it won't be allowed to happen. You cannot blatantly go after someone like this and ignore 5 people that you're walking in front of. And I know you just jumped down from up here. But even still, like, look what is going on here. This Reaper should be dead. And he should be engaging with Blossom. That should be it. He shouldn't be jumping off this ledge until he knows he's going to Blossom. Because you can do plenty of damage. Hate this thing. Hate this cast. From right here. You can do plenty of damage. And you can even, boop, sidestep, and make Hog use his cooldown. Use his hook. It's all about forcing their cooldowns and using yours smartly here, guys. Ult economy and cooldown economy, these are really important things. Okay, so the entire team just gets shattered. I understand, it happens, right? The Zarya bubble could have blocked it. It didn't. At this point, no, I wouldn't use Blossom, because your entire team is shattered. But Deer's coming in clutch here. Look at this. Look at this froggy boy here. Look at that seriousness. He's like, oh, I'm about to save everyone. Great beat. Amazing beat. Very great that you didn't get shattered. Very, very good call on your part using that ult there. So that should be communicated. And even if it's not, you should hear when your own team uses ults. And you should be blossoming here. Okay? So it needs to be discussed. Ults need to be discussed. How you plan to use them needs to be discussed. What ults you plan to hold on to counter needs to be discussed. Okay? So that if I'm Reaper, I should know that I'm going to be going to engage with this. If I'm Zarya, I should know if I see the 3 or 4 bunched up like I did and use that ult, then Reaper's going to blossom. As Lucio, you should know I'm holding beat for Shatter, or I'm holding beat for Whole Hog or Blossom or whatever it might be, although y'all probably knew that they didn't have either of those. So you're probably holding it for Shatter here. This is a perfect scenario. But as a DPS player, and I'm still not sure if this Reaper's actually one of ours or not, but as a DPS player, whoever's going to be playing DPS, you need to know that your beat is being used to save your team here. You are investing ultimates into this team fight. Therefore, it needs to be won. You cannot invest ultimates into a team fight that you're not going to win. Otherwise, you're throwing. You're throwing the whole game. Right? Blossom is a winning factor here. It's a win condition, and you shouldn't even be jumped down off this ledge without a sense of when and how you're going to use that. And now look. And now look. Dead Reaper because of bad positioning. Which is exactly what should have happened. He should have died earlier when he walked in front of a Brig Reaper Hog blatantly to kill that Zim. Beautiful shatter, by the way. Absolutely beautiful. But something that is concerning here is, even though, yes, it's great timing for that shatter, and you're probably going to pick 2, definitely 1 here, by yourself, your team is still dealing with Rhine. So I think what should have been done here is shattering this team, and then you, Vinyl, turning and helping your team focus down this Rhine, and then you've created an equal situation because your Reaper died. Would be a 6-on-5 otherwise. Okay, I'm gonna rewind this because we just used beat, so I'm weary of using 2 support ults back to back. But I see where Vinyl's was. So good call. Good call. So we're back to the beginning of this. Great beat. So let's see. Okay, so yeah. I would have turned to face that Rhine with your team. Rather than, like, you should have shattered, yes, because that disabled that entire team, and you could have focused down the main tank. Great bubble there, Cypher. Okay, so this is where we engaged our coalescence. So why did we engage here? I disagree with engaging coalescence that shortly after using beat, because now you don't have a support ultimate. And it doesn't really look like anyone truly needed it. Reaper was already dead. Vinyl's out of LOS. And doing okay on health. So I'm guessing it was really to focus down this Rhine. But what should be happening here is Lucio speeding the entire team into it. And the Junkrat Zarya doing the majority of the damage to kill this Rhine. Beautiful boop. That would have been perfect. So I think Coalescence was unnecessary to kill that, because Deer already had it in his mind that he's going to corner this fool, and Junkrat and Zarya could have focused him down. I do believe it is Coalescence that forced Rally, which is okay, I guess, in that scenario. But you don't know that they're going to use Rally, you know? And Vinyl, had you turned around and focused down that Rhine after shattering, you would still be alive right now, because you'd be with your team. So now we are in a 4v4 situation. We could be in a 5v4. Okay. Knowing that your main tank is down, Let's back this up. Okay, so we've already discussed everything that's happened here up until this rally. So they rally. There's 4 of them here. There's 4 of you here. You should be backing up. You should be backing up. This is an equal fight, but they're rallied. So they're rallying, they're building this armor. Yeah, you should be backing up. Especially knowing that you've only got Zarya bubbles to protect you. So Junk goes down. And look at all that time Junkrat had to really get out of Roadhog's LOS. Okay? So getting out, being aware of your surroundings, and getting out when you need to is a very big part here. Let's see. And then same thing. Yeah. So it basically should have been, you guys should have been getting out here. I think that fight was lost upon losing Vinyl. And them rallying. Had they not rallied, I think this could have been a winnable fight. But with rally and like your inability to really take damage, sustain damage, yeah, I would have just gotten out there. Okay. I'm going to be pretty upset if this Reaper doesn't use Blossom soon. Because he's been holding on to it for a while. So, knowing where the cart was when team died, this is going to be where you're holding. Right? So everything is set up pretty well here. You pushed up too far. This is overextension. And I want you to pay attention, Vinyl, to the distance that has been... Every time that I say, like, you're overextended, there's so much distance between you and anyone who can help you. The Zarya bubble... Let's see here. Right here. The Zarya bubble is gonna burst before you get around that corner. So you kind of got lucky here and boot back. Okay. I'm liking everything that's happening here. Blossom engagement, which is good. Took down 3 so far. The fight is won. And this is why I'm saying this. The fight is won here. And there are 4 people back here that can handle Hog. So, dear, here I think that you should be going to help the Reaper to finish off the squishies. Because he... Where's our Junkrat? Oh, okay. I see. So had... So Hog was going to die regardless. Had you gone with the Reaper, you could have speed boosted him into this Junkrat. And not only increased both of your ults, but also set the enemy team back further. No. another situation of overextension, forcing your team to use cooldowns that they don't need to use. There's no reason that you should be up here. With where this card position is, you should be holding this corner right here and being able to use this to get behind. Should not be all the way up there. Okay, and this is the reason why I say this. Let's back it up. Back it up. This Lucio should be dead. That should be a point of focus. And that should be called out. Lucio is overextended. And that should cause Vinyl to back up to save his shield. Because when they're focusing on something that's back here, it's pointless for you to be up here and using shield health on while no one's behind you actually doing damage. So if this Reaper was where he should have been, that Lucio would have been dead. We just lost a Moira when we didn't need to, because no one was able to do a lot of damage and kill that Lucio. And we lost Reaper because he's by himself. Positioning. It's all about positioning, guys. I think this was a good tire. I think it was focused on the wrong people. Always be thinking about how you can help your team. So you got a 3K right here with this tire. Our Junkrat did. But he could have easily gotten the same 3K helping the team. Because Reaper's down, right? Our Reaper's down. Our Moira's down. It is a 3v3 fight over here. This can still be a losing situation for you and your team. If they kill these three, you're in a 1v3. And all you're going to be able to do is either sit up here and spam damage and hope that you kill something while the card is moving in front of you, or go down there and die. So, good tire. I just think it was focused on the wrong people. Good pen. Oof. Unfortunate. Okay, so yeah. Never mind. I'm going to have to take it back and call it a bad pen. Because you're putting yourself out of position. And do you see what I'm talking about? How I was talking earlier about the way you're backing up and paying attention to your surroundings, forcing if someone chases you for them to be in a bad position. And that's exactly what I mean. Because now your team is down a main tank and they're going to be here before you are. That Ryan made a mistake. He shouldn't have come back in. He should have just gotten out and been happy with the fact that he was able to pick our main tank. So I think here that he just made a mistake, which is fortunate on y'all's part. This should be called out. Because this Moira is going to end up right back where she was last time she died because of this. Way to challenge. Good job, dear. Okay. Now these are the types of things that I mean here. I'm going to back it up just a little. Using these corners, breaking LOS, hugging very tightly. And that's why we just saw Cypher get hooked by Hog. And let's see where she was when it happened. I know, girl. Girl, I know you saw them. While you may be high charge, there's a Lucio over here healing. There's no way you take down a squishy before this hog hooks you. Pay attention to your surroundings and break LOS using your environment when your main tank is down. Because now we're down both tanks. Or no, Vinyl's back. But now we're down our off tank. And we're still creating a 5v6 situation. That was foolish. Good play though. So here we are. Rhine, way out of position. This should be focused on by everyone. This should be called out. This Hanzo should be turning around and killing Junkrat and Moira. It would take literally a second. And then you have their main tank down. Good coalescence. Because you were trying to save Vinyl. The fact that this Hanzo didn't jump over and lob an arrow at that Rhine could have been the deciding factor between our main tank dying and our main tank living. Callouts are important, but more than that, paying attention to them and doing something about them are also very important. At this point, he's feeding. Just get whatever you can off of this guy and don't get hooked. As DPS players, whoever's going to be playing DPS, that should be the focus right now. That little frog. Oof. Early. I think that's a little too early. You need to wait until they are sold on this engagement, okay? So, once again, as a DPS player, I wouldn't wait till you just see Rhine right here and the rest of the team back here, because as soon as they hear fire in the hole, what does everybody do? Back up, scatter, whatever. So you need to wait until they're really sold on this fight and they're all right here. That way, as this tire comes out of the window and you're backing up, they're backing up, it's just a perfect alignment, right? This could have been a 5K. I don't agree with the overextension here. The reason that I don't agree with the overextension here is because you're not going in with 6. If you turn this corner, you break your Hanzo's LOS to help you. and you're in a 5v5 situation, so an equal fight on grounds that you shouldn't be on, and this Junkrat has free reign on you right here. So I don't agree with how far you guys have pushed up. I would have just waited back here after that main tank died, forcing them to reset. Ult economy. We used 3 ults at literally the same exact time. A, we shouldn't be pushed up this far. And I'm guessing you guys pushed up this far in order to use these ults. But it's not necessary. You had won the you had completed the win condition. They're not going to beat you without their main tank. You take this corner back here and you wait for them to reset, and then you use these ults. Getting time off the clock is the most important thing here. I don't know what this Junkrat is doing, but he could have been a lot more effective, and you guys could have been in a lot more trouble. That's why we don't overextend. And here it comes. Nice. We're gonna back up here. Okay. Another bad part about coming out here and using those ults is that the team is split. Okay? So they're able, and if I recognize that these are just supports that don't have that high damage output, but what if it was the Junkrat? What if this Junkrat started raining down on you right after this Ana threw a nade and you're all purple? Okay? So it's just, I think this overextension is serious, and I think it could be what loses you this point. As you back up, you need to back up as a team, right? So it is not your main tank's responsibility to shield you. It is your responsibility to be behind your main tank's shield. So this Junkrat dying out here is this Junkrat's responsibility and this Junkrat's fault. Because as it is talked about that we're backing up, everyone needs to be backing up. You need to be aware of your surroundings. Be aware of where your team is, and be aware of where those who can really help you are. I'm not sure, this is the second time I've watched it, and I'm not sure how you ended up stuck here, Cypher, but you need to be over there. I feel like that's obvious as I say it, but just be aware of your surroundings. Back up with your team. I can't believe that you got out of there, but it is very good. Let's see here. Okay, so our Hanzo has not moved the entire time. I'm not saying I disagree with that, but let's see where this Reaper came from. Okay, so this was on you, Cypher. I saw it. You got greedy here, and you wanted damage over paying attention to what was going on with your team here. So I know it's hard to not want to do damage and get greedy and get kills, and You want to shove it down their throats, right? But the only way you're really going to truly improve and win is by playing as a team. So you forced Lucio past shield in order to help get you out. And honestly, I think that whole scenario of overextension, people not backing up with the team, is what caused the team to get shattered by this. Because the team was forced forward to help and then had to panic and back up. And in doing so, the shield is let down and Shatter comes out. Okay. Priority targets are going to depend on ult economy and also just who is doing a lot of damage, who is really affecting and throwing off your team. It should have been known that this Reaper had Blossom. Blossom hasn't been out since like the very first part of the second leg, I believe. So a target priority here is Reaper. As your team gets shattered, your priority is not the Moira. It's going to be the Reaper. It's going to be whoever can do all that damage to your team while they're laying down. So this Hanzo should be focusing on that Reaper even before Blossom comes out. As your team dies here, you have to know, A, you've already died to this Ana. This Hanzo has already died to this Ana. And you're still getting shot at, and you should know that. But B, there's no situation in which you're helping anyone by being up here. You have your ultimate already. And your team just got wiped in front of you. But rather than retreating and jumping out here and going back to your team to get set up, you put yourself in a situation where your team's probably going to have to take the last fight 5v6 because you're the last person to die. So right here, you have your ult already. What is the point in staying? There is none. You're getting shot at by an Ana. There's a hog right here that was able to hook you, and you should know that he would have been able to hook you. When the fight is lost, it's time to get out and regroup with your team. There's no situation in which this Hanzo was going to jump down and dragon and kill 6 or anything like that. Needs to get out. Junkrat died here because he didn't wait where he should have with the group. Same thing with the Hanzo. Okay? So you don't need to be out here doing poke damage when you are the only person and there's so much distance between you and safety. So much. You have to know you're going to die in that situation. So now we're forced into A, Hanzo shouldn't be coming this way. Should be going with the rest of the team. B, we're forced into a 5v6 situation because you came out early as Junkrat and got picked. And it almost locks the fact that they're going to cap this third point.
Payload is approaching its destination.
As someone who plays a lot of Hanzo, I would have preferred to see you come out if you were going to come out this direction. I would have preferred to see you come out and use this route. If you saw the Junkrat right there, I could understand you stopping to pick him. But I would prefer to see you come out and dragon from behind right here. At this point, we're just in utter chaos. And hold on to the point for as long as you can, right? Struggling to get out. So, this all goes back to, this started with overextension. That's what caused y'all to lose this third point, okay? The fact that y'all ran up here to use Grav, Beat, and Shatter within the same second for a split team with a Junkrat right above you. That's how this started. That's why they capped. Because after that, the fallback caused picks to happen. Cypher and I forget who else it was. The Junkrat got picked. Yeah, it's right there. Junkrat got picked because he was out here while the rest of the team was backing up. The rest of the team's backing up. Cypher stopped. Wanted to do damage. Got picked because of that. And then the whole... No. Cypher didn't get picked because of it. The team came to help. The team came to help. And in that moment of getting out after helping Zarya get out, the team was able to be shattered. Priority target was not focused by Hanzo. Which, if you're up here, if you're not with your team, I'll say it like this. As a DPS, if you're not with your team, if you're on high ground control, if you're on a flank route, priority targets is what you need to be focused on. Okay? So, priority target wasn't focused. After overextension and an unlucky shatter, and that's what caused the loss of this. So we're through with the defense. I'm going to be doing the attack later. All in all, it's not bad, guys. It needs work, but we all always need work. And I think that with just some adjustments and some playing tighter as a team together, using LOS breaks, setting yourself up positioning wise for success, all of these things are going to be easy for y'all to implement, and I think that y'all can do really, really well with this. King's Row, I feel like, has always been a struggle for us, so I'm glad that this was King's Row map, and I got to kind of go over some talking points for holding these defenses. So I think that's all I have for the defense. Watch your overextensions. Watch your positioning. Pay attention to the cooldowns that you're using and why you're using them. Use LOS breaks. All in all, I hope you guys were able to take something away from this video. I'm going to get it uploaded to the Discord.